Good morning, my fellow Dimwit fans. I know people are hungry for some Dewitte content. I know I always am. Cleopatra visiting. I know I always am. So I watched Fraudy's video last night. I guess the most recent one. I think the most recent one, or second to most recent one. Again, I will put the link in the bio. I can't imagine anyone who watches my stuff doesn't watch Fraudy's stuff and hasn't already seen it. But she's playing with her toy. She's going to be a big distraction. Excuse me. Hey, could you not do that right now? Thanks. Come here. I guess maybe we'll just deal with that for a little while so she gets bored of it. Yeah, so I watched that video and it's fascinating. I would say to you, like, I don't know how you guys watch your Dewitte content. Like, what I do is I just, like, on the weekend, I work on the weekends and I drive around all day. So I put it on YouTube on the Bluetooth and I just listen. You know, you can listen to a 20-minute thing and it's awesome. So this latest Dewitte video that Fraudy put up, the judge is the first guy I've seen who is smarter than Amir. This guy, he kind of kills Amir in a very subtle, nice way, because Amir's kissing his ass the whole time, because, you know, you have to do that a little bit. So I'm gonna do this whole video and then I'm gonna listen back to see how distracting that is, and if I have to change it, if I have to redo it, I'll redo it. Anyway, so the video opens with the judge being clearly annoyed that, again, in a subtle way, because he's not arrogant. This judge is, he's very I mean, he's a judge, so he should be articulate, but he conveys the point well. He can be a little bit long-winded, but you don't mind it because everything he's saying is so engaging. So he's clearly annoyed by Jeremy's downward departure sentence, which is great because we were all so annoyed by it when it happened. He's annoyed by it now because Jeremy got the benefit of this downward departure ruling. Not ruling. What's the word I'm looking for? When you do these things, you don't have time to search for a word. Verdict. This downward departure verdict, and then he screwed it up, which is what Jeremy's just going to do, right? So this judge is saying to Jeremy in this video and to Amir, you guys got this gift, and then you effed it up, because that's what you do. You just F everything up, right? Jeremy's just going to F everything up. So Amir goes in there and he says, for lack of a better term, this is going to be a plea negotiation. Amir is always trying to slip one past the goalie, right? We're going to do a plea negotiation here. Nobody said that. The state is not there. The state does wind up being ready to make a plea, to make a deal, to which Jeremy, it's going to be almost 6 years, just under 6 years. And as I was thinking about it today, as I was going to make this video, Jeremy has been in jail. He was born in 80. I was born in 70, so he's 43. Jeremy's 43 or 44 now. I don't know when his birthday is. We should all know that, actually. We should be celebrating Jeremy's birthday when that day arrives. He spent a long time. He spent a lot of time in jail. Do you imagine, like, I don't imagine a lot of us who watch this have been in jail for any extended periods of time. Could you imagine sitting in a jail cell as Jeremy is right now and just waiting for these hearings and cases? Months and months and months, right? He got that first initial year on the impersonation in the gas station. He got out, I think, after a year, like, because he was young or whatever. And then, you know, he did the airsoft team, so he went back in, and then the statutory rape thing, so he went back in. And, you know, I think Jeremy spent probably like 8 years behind bars, which is a long freaking time to be Jeremy and be behind bars. Like, and don't you think Jeremy's probably gotten his ass kicked in jail at some point? I'm putting it out to Fraudy and PT. Can we get infirmary records? Records, again with the Brooklyn records. Can we get infirmary records to see if Jeremy has ever had his ass beat and wind up in the infirmary? I can't imagine Jeremy has not had his ass beat at some point in his life, right? Riding around like he does, just road rage nonsense. In high school, he didn't get his ass beat in high school. I reached out to his high school classmates. Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to talk about Jeremy. I could see people being frightened of Jeremy a little bit because he's so off the hook, insane. But again, he's like, 5'9", $180. Like somebody hasn't just tuned him out once or twice. I said to PT one day, I think like when he was out of jail, we should have put it to him like Fraudy's got like 20,000 subscribers and PT's got like 10,000 and Josh has got like whatever. Couldn't we like everybody like chip in $10 and like do a celebrity boxing match with somebody versus Jeremy? And we just watch Jeremy get his ass whipped and we could help him with his legal. It'd be worth it. I would do that. I would donate to that. Because he should definitely get his ass beat. All right, so then that was the first half of Fraudy's video, the first little snippet where the judge is like, he's clearly annoyed that he got this downward departure and he keeps screwing up. Then you have that little intermission part where it seems like Jeremy's probably in the back of a police car or the cop is just listening to Jeremy's long record. And could you imagine a felony offender of special concern? Imagine that's who you are. Like, Jeremy doesn't see himself that way. Right? Jeremy thinks he's a normal or regular upstanding citizen. But when you hear that over and over again, and I'll get to it later, but the judge was talking about the murder statute, right? That's how Jeremy's being viewed. A felony offender of special concern, like a murderer. And that's what this judge is looking at when he's thinking about letting Jeremy out, which means he is not letting Jeremy out. And then I got to ask PT and Fraudy, like, so the idea that we have this video out, does that mean that all the charges pertaining to what they were talking about are over? Because there was a lot of talk about the Facebook page, which has been adjudicated. Obviously, Jeremy was found not guilty by incompetence. And, but there was some mention of additional charges coming, which are going to be the failure to register the vehicle. So why is this video able to be out if those charges weren't adjudicated? I guess because we didn't discuss them in the video. I don't know. But I would like to ask Fraudy and PT. But back to Amir. Amir trying to say that this is a plea agreement, a plea conference. It's not, right? The judge is like, we're not doing that. But Amir trying to slip one past the goalie, like, if he can get it done today, he'll get it done, and if it benefits him, it benefits him. So then Amir goes into the whole thing about how it was difficult for Jeremy to go from Department of Corrections to home because of some of these roadblocks in his way in regards to, it wasn't an easy transition because of these roadblocks about the YouTube usernames and passwords. Then stay in jail. If it's such a hardship for you, then stay there. Nobody told you to leave. Nobody asked you to leave. You could stay there. If it's such a hardship, Amir, just stay in jail. Amir really met his match with this judge. I'm telling you. If you haven't, you gotta listen to this video. It's really great. And again, Amir kissing his ass the whole time. Oh, Judge, you were so kind. You were kind enough. Your so level-headed. You're so this. All right, Amir, we get it. And that's Amir's thing, right? Because a lot of lawyers are not like that. A lot of lawyers are kind of a-holes and they alienate judges, but that's not Amir's thing. Amir, I think they try to bully judges to some degree, but Amir doesn't do that. Amir is, Amir's kind of a gentleman. But one of my favorite parts of it was Amir equated Jeremy to Al Capone. He said they can't get him on what they want to get him on, so they come up with other charges. And Amir made the analogy of, they can't get my client for, bootlegging, so they get him for tax evasion. And the judge was like, really? Like, listen to that. Listen to the judge say, really? That's what you're doing? That's where we're going with this? And Amir was like, no, Your Honor. And the state has the right to call whatever, to charge my client with whatever they want. Yeah, this judge, he had Amir's number in a very respectful way. And the judge said this case is a problem. And I want to know why we haven't seen this judge again. I didn't even I didn't write down his name, but these cases were then transferred back to Karsten. Like, where is this judge? Because this guy we want. Yeah, the anti-murder statute. That's how he's looking at Jeremy, talking about the anti-murder statute. On his status, no relief on his status. Yeah, I said, I think he's been in jail like almost 6 years. I was curious about that. And I love in the beginning, the judge says to Amir, do you think your client is going to speak here today? And Amir is like, yes. And I go, is he going to speak? Of course. Try to stop him. And then the judge, so I laughed at that when he said, is he going to speak today? And Amir said yes, because that's a silly question. Then the next silly thing that happened was the judge said, okay, swear him in. That's silly also, because it doesn't matter if we swear Jeremy in. Is that going to preclude him from lying at all? No. And then Jeremy, of course, sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. And the judge is like, talk to your attorney. And then Jeremy says something stupid that he's got no business discussing in court. And the judge is like, that's a conversation you have with your attorney outside. But Jeremy, he knows that. He's just got to be a nudge. He's got to be in the limelight. He's got to, right? You have a come to Jesus moment when you're somebody like Jeremy, where you just say, fuck, like, I got to stop doing this. I got to get out of jail. But Jeremy won't have that come to Jesus moment, because the only thing that makes him anything is this. So it's messed up. Yeah, so that's my question. Those are my questions. I wanted to say to you guys that my questions are, where is this judge now? Were these cases transferred away from him and to Karsten's? And again, I hate to do it because I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but, from this judge who's got Amir's number clearly to Karsten's, I want to ask PT and Fraudy if there are such a thing as infirmary records, because Jeremy has got to have gotten his ass beat at some point. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about that video. Once again, I will put the link in my description so you can watch it, because it's really fascinating. This judge is a really good judge. I actually enjoyed him in the video because he's so eloquent and knowledgeable and talks about the law and how it applies. So I thought it was really neat. So go watch that. I hope PT and Fraudy answer my questions. And the Met game's on at 12, so I'll be incommunicado. That's another thing. Amir said that him and Jeremy were incommunicado when the SWAT team was at Jeremy's house. they were incommunicado. Did he use the right word? Were they incommunicado to each other or to the rest of society? And you're not allowed to, when you're Jeremy, you're not allowed to be incommunicado. Is Amir saying it's okay that he was incommunicado because he was incommunicado with Amir? But Jeremy was in his house. So, like, Amir wasn't in the house with Jeremy. And then Jeremy said he was asleep. So how could he be incommunicado with Amir? Like, Amir... And the judge says it at one point, too. The judge is like, listen, you have the right to, represent your client to the best of your ability. And, like, Amir is definitely stretching the limits of truth. So, that's it. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. Think about some of the things I said while you're watching it, and come back at me if you can think of any other stuff, because I love that back and forth. And I hope PT and Fraudy tell me that there are infirmary records and Jeremy spent months in the infirmary after opening his stupid mouth to somebody he shouldn't have. All right, I shall speak to you later. Don't do anything, Jeremy or Jen. Be happy, healthy, and safe. I'm going to listen to this to see if Cleopatra ruined it and I have to do it again. Okay, bye.